So, today, went to vote, Canadian election. Probably one of the most important elections ever going to happen for me in my lifetime. And basically, there's two options, as we would know it. It's the liberal option or the conservative option. And right now, I'm going to talk about three different things. Where we're at currently, politically, Canadians, why I chose what I voted for, and probably why it won't work. But more importantly, what the outcome will be depending on liberal versus conservative. Where we at as Canadians right now, we're in a situation where we have two options. One is a liberal and the other one's a conservative. The liberal government's been in place for last 8 years, 10 years. And we're in a situation that if we vote them back into power, the same thing will continue on. Even the degradation will be even that much worse. Now, the reason why they say they have a pretty good chance of winning is because of Trump's tariffs, and they're supposedly going against Trump, and they're going to actually make a difference. That's their stance on that. Whereas the conservatives are willing to work with Trump, which obviously you're further ahead to work with Trump than fight against him, like as if we're going to make enough of a difference. They put themselves in a position they can't even negotiate against Trump because of their policies and their position. But who did I vote for? I actually voted for the People's Party of Canada, PPC. Now, the reason why I voted for them is a different thing. But first of all, I want to reach out. The PPC, listen. So CPC is Conservative Party of Canada. PPC is People's Party of Canada. So first of all, why did you market yourself so close to the conservative branding? It doesn't set you apart. That's a big mistake. Besides that, look how hard it was for me to figure it out. People's Party of Canada versus CPC, Conservative Party of Canada. As a marketing level, you look like you're just the same as conservative, but a little bit different. And I don't know if that was your intention or not, but that was a big mistake. I voted for you because it was brought to my attention that I have two options. I can vote either for intelligently, which would be vote for conservative because the chances of the People's Party of Canada winning is very unlikely. But I had to vote for them as it was brought to my attention. I have either a choice of intelligence or my values. And when I thought about it deeper, end of the day, we had to vote based on our values. Because if we vote on just what is the better of the two evils, then we will not make a drastic change in our framework of our country. And that is a huge issue. And one of the biggest challenges that I think we don't talk about is abortion. We've allowed through every possible means, allowed us to do whatever we want, whenever we want, with no repercussion, no responsibility. We're allowing everybody to go out there, have sex at will, do as they wish, and we'll give you all the options between birth control, Plan B, or just the baby. And it leaves no responsibility for men to show up and allows women to have sex at will. No supposed repercussion. So at the end of the day, we've allowed for the degradation of human life in general to no longer have much of a meaning to us in general. Between the abortion that kills all the babies to the maid that kills you when you choose to, and towards allowing all types of drugs in our culture, that whenever you want to take your life, you can take any small amount of fentanyl to kill yourself. And so we've allowed ourselves to get to the point that we don't really value human life in general. And what happens when we societally get to that point, we basically have politicians that basically can manipulate us to the point that as long as we get our basic needs met, we will subside to whatever their wishes are. And that's basically where we've got to. I guess at the end of the day, I had to make this conscious choice of choosing to vote for PPC, People's Party of Canada, because of their values. But unless our culture sees a need to stand up for what is good for them, their values, what's good for the longevity of their country, nothing's going to change. And at the end of the day, we've walked away from our religious beliefs, our religious foundations of how our country was created, our Christian values. And because of that, this is the fault of our degradation of our society. So I would encourage you all to spend a little bit more time and get off of your phone a bit more, in the sense of going through reels and wasting your time on stupid stuff that doesn't have much of a meaning, and go look at the policies of your political leaders and what's actually on the platform. You can just Google it. It's right there. And spend your time on your phone with more valuable things like that. or even go to the biblical sense of what your values could be or should be. Spend some time in figuring that out, because at the end of the day, the journey we're going on, and you know what, sadly enough, I've even heard this recently, that the boomers are the ones that have voted the most for liberals, even in this election. They were supposed to be the ones that went through the struggles and difficulty after their parents. They heard the stories their parents went through, and yet they're the ones that are seeing the country fall apart and allow it to continue to fall apart and vote for it to continue to fall apart. They're the ones that should be standing up and seeing the failure of their country and vote differently. Anyways, that's where we are at today, and that's where I see us going in the future, unless we make drastic changes in the framework and in the culture of our country. So I hope I'm wrong with this all, and it's going to make a big part if liberal government gets in, even on the framework of our freedom of speech, and to even have these frank conversations, these debates. So if this is something that interests you, or topics like these interest you, make your comments below. If there's other comments you want us to address, bring it to our attention, and we'd love to talk about it. In the meantime, like and subscribe if you'd like to hear what we're talking about, and we'll see you next time.